right, Clip, you're up.
I was going to ask Donnie a question, and he answered before I could about, because he's been on staffs where the offense would score 40 and the defense would give up 39 or 41. He's been on the opposite side. And I was going to ask him, what's it like, does he say, I'm sorry, Blake, what he did today? But he brought it up himself. He said everybody's a team. How frustrating is it to get 10 points and lose, though?
Yeah, it's all defense. It's not offense, defense, special teams. We all in this thing together. And we all got to make sure we're all pulling in the same direction and keeping the fight together. And, I think one of the things my mom called me earlier in the week, and my mom knows very little bit of football, but she knows a lot about wisdom, and she said, keep your head up and keep your head down. And what she meant by that, hey, you're doing some good things, be proud of that, but keep your head down and keep working. And I think that's, I shared that with our players. That's good advice for our players and our program, and that's what we got to keep doing, just keep marching forward at this point.
I was going to say the past couple games, I think SMU, they scored kind of early, even last week, that first drive, but then you guys figured it out after they started playing well. What are those in-game adjustments like, and what do you kind of watch for?
Yeah, so, I think Charlotte was a very different offense as far as we were preparing for two quarterbacks. You really didn't see throughout the season who they wanted to be. And I think, during the week last week, you're trying to prepare for two quarterbacks. You're going a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So you're showing your guys as many different thousands of looks as you can to prepare for Saturday. And after that first drive, you kind of got a feel for who they are and what they want to do and maybe who they want to be. So you finally get a chance, to sit down and talk about it. And I think we had a third down early in that game, we had a chance to go 3 and out. And I think and I told our guys, there's a lot of plays you talk about in that game, but that first third down may have been as big a play as there was in that ball game for us, especially defensively. If we could have got off the field there, we could have won some field position, got them behind, got them second guessing some things that they were doing. And, but we were able to sit down and talk about it on the bench, got some things going, and held them to 3 there. And then, really the first drive of the second half is a similar situation. I think they put 10 or 12 plays together, both those drives, and some of that was just we had a couple, Julius was starting at a new safety spot. Davius Nash was starting for the first time, so trying to keep some things, familiar for those guys in the back end, and at the same time make sure we didn't give up big plays and missed a wheel right there out of the into the boundary, and they got down there at the 1 yard line. But we were able to fix that, move on. It was kind of a day where we did give up some yards, but kept them out of the end zone. So we got to make sure every day we step on the field, whether it's practice, whether it's game, and told the guys this today, it's got to be your best practice of the year, because that's just how you got to be wired. You got to have that mentality that hey, I'm going to go fight this thing out. I'm going to freaking be better today than I was yesterday, no matter the situation. And look at this week and focus on UTSA. So that's kind of been our approach.
Facing a seventh-year quarterback, which is odd enough to say as it is, how do you prepare your guys to kind of give him a new look he hasn't seen before when he's had so much experience?
Yeah, I told some of the guys it was his 7th year. They graduated high school in 2017, and a couple of my freshmen looked over at me. I think I got one of them, one of them 17, one just turned 18, and they said they were in the 6th and 7th grade back then. So, which is kind of crazy, but that is what it is. And Frank Harris is a really good quarterback and had a great career there at UTSA. He's more of a point guard to me. Just kind of can deal the ball out, knows how to run that offense. RPO game, he's really special, and then they got some running backs that can certainly hurt you in the run game. So I think he's done a good job with that offense, and I think 2 years ago threw for 4,000. I think this year he's probably right at 1,000 or somewhere in there. But just does a really nice job of running the offense. He was hurt. He missed the Army game, missed the Tennessee game, which has been 2 of their losses. But he's been back the last 3 games, and I think they're averaging right at 40 points a game. So certainly got our hands full. He's a good player, and certainly worthy of all the credit he gets.
Coach, what's your take on the sign stealing allegations?
Yeah, I think if I better not use a quote a high school coach told me one time, but I think that it's probably rampant in college football as far as you're trying to get every advantage you have. Our players are looking at how their guys align or how their guys, shift this way or shift that way, or who's in the backfield or who's a tight end, or, hey, what's the down and distance, for any tips that we can get. If they happen to tip off a signal, whether it be the quarterback or receiver or the guy from the sideline, I think that's just part of the game. Now, it's obviously illegal to go, scout another live opponent. So that part, I think you got to stay within the rules. You got to do what you got to do. But, I think probably some of it's getting blown way out of proportion, I'm sure. But at the same time, you got to make sure you're doing things the right way and doing things within the rules, but give yourself a chance to win and give you guys a chance to go play fast.
You touched on a little bit right away about practice, but Coach was talking about good on good. And how can you guys help maybe kickstart the offense with what you're seeing in good on good?
Yeah, I think, anytime you're in practice, you're going ones on ones, twos on twos, that's an opportunity to go compete. And I think if we're having a competition and we're out in the backyard playing horse or pig or whatever it may be, and that's going to make us a lot better than if I'm just in the backyard throwing up shots by myself. So I think that's an opportunity for us to go compete, good on good, and push each other to raise our level of competition, raise our level of play. And I think every day you do that, you kind of move in that direction. So that's our chance to do that.
Do you guys pick on each other? Are you, as a defensive coach, if you see they're doing something and it's telling the other team this is what we're going to do, are you able to communicate that, or are you guys totally kind of separate during the game or even in film?
As far as offensively?
As far as offensively, you're a defensive coach.
Yeah.
You're dude, your tight end is doing this, and it's telling them you're going to run.
So that kind of goes back to preseason camp. During the preseason camp, you definitely don't give those giveaways away because it kind of gives you the advantage, and it's easy because your players are sitting there calling, and they see each other every day, so they're sitting there calling it out. But right now you don't get much of that just because you don't see enough of that offense. But it certainly if something comes up like that, we both sides of the ball share it with each other because we obviously want to give ourselves the best chance to go winning ball game.
An offense that has some kind of ability to go tempo similar to what SMU was able to do, how do you kind of reach where you want to do with substitutions and get the line fresh while also kind of making sure you don't get caught in a bad personnel package?
No doubt. So UTSA is a tempo football team, especially after a made first down. I think they called somebody the other day in 2nd and 11, and that's not a situation you usually see tempo. Usually when you get them behind the sticks or you get a stop, they're not going tempo, and they did because somebody looking to the sideline didn't have the signal in. So we got to be prepared at all times. I think the best way to prepare for tempo is expect it every snap, and then when they substitute, I think that's the chance for the officials to hold the ball, let the defense have an opportunity. So we got to take advantage of that opportunity. And in the SMU game, I think we forced 9 3-and-outs in that game, and they never could get in that rhythm, and it kept them out of the tempo rhythm, so to speak. So those are great ways to keep a team out of tempo and on their heels a little bit. Whether you're playing a tempo team or not tempo team, those are kind of the goals of the week.
A couple of stats that stood out: 3 for 15 on 3rd down with Charlotte. So
yeah.
And did you realize that it was 41-19 possession, and were your players feeling that?
My mom told me that one too, so she pays a lot more attention to it than I. No, I think as a coach during the game, you're just trying to get stops. And I thought we might play well on 1st down, then 2nd down they get to 3rd and medium, 3rd and short. Or 1st down we didn't play well, 2nd down played really well, get 3rd and medium, 3rd and short. I think as a defense, anytime you can get a offense in 3rd and long, make them drop back pass, I think it gets them out of their comfort zone. If they can stay on schedule, 3rd and medium, 3rd and short, and you don't know if he's going to run the speed option or drop back pass or sprint out pass, that can kind of put you at the disadvantage and put the advantage in the offense, obviously. But I think the few times you saw us get him in 3rd and long, we kind of pinned it back and went and got him and got off the field. And that's, they had a couple 4th downs they went for, and that was kind of their MO to do that. But, I think the last 2 weeks, I think we gave up, what you said, 3 there and a couple at SMU. I think it's 5 or 6 out of the last 30-something attempts between the 2 ball games. And so that area of our defense has been a lot better, locking in there and being focused there. However, I did see where UTSA is probably the top 3rd down offense in our league, so certainly got work cut out there. And some of that is just they stay on schedule. You look at their breakdown, they have very few 3rd and extra longs. They have some 3rd and longs, 7 to 10 for us, and then the 3rd and medium, 3rd and shorts they have a bunch of because they're staying on schedule. And some part of that's Frank Harris, just the run game that they have, their tailbacks, the O-line comes off the ball, all that good stuff that good football teams do, and they've been able to do that.
Davius Nash played something more than like 50 snaps.
Yeah.
What did you like out of him just getting that playing?
Yeah, you know, that was his first start, and it's probably the most he's played in his career. And I talked to him on Sunday. I said, hey, you know what usually happens between game 1 and game 2 when you're starting? I said, that's when you make your most improvement. And you can see this week in practice, you see him feel more comfortable with our defense. You know, there were some things we didn't take into the game plan last week just to make sure, hey, we could line up and play. And this week you're able to throw a lot more at him. He can handle it. Same thing with Julius in the boundary, even though he's been played a lot of snaps. It's a whole new position into the boundary where, you know, Teagan had played, where Omar Rogers had played. You know, and then you still got Devin King in there. He's done a good job. So all three of those guys did a good job for us last week. You know, was really proud of Davius and just the effort he had, and showed us some things. And I think, you know, he's one of our better cover guys. And then Jordan Huff has been playing back there at safety a little bit as well as nickel. So I will continue to grow those guys and develop those guys. And I think with every single snap that Davius gets, that Jordan gets, that Devin King gets, they get better and better. And even this week in practice, I've seen Julius Woods be more and more comfortable with the boundary safety position.
I was going to say, you can do some of those things because Julius, you're comfortable with him
Yeah.
handling different moves.
And Julius is one of our better tacklers. You know, he's a guy that, you know, when you're at field safety, sometimes you're out of the action. You're guarding number 2 to the field, and he's over there running RPO or a bubble of the field. So you're standing on the field hash, and all the action's over there in the box. When you're the boundary safety, you're kind of in the fire there, and that's where you want Julius Woods, right there, where it's hot, and stick him right in there, and he'll make plays for you. So, and I think this week you'll see a big growth in his game.
Kind of a unique venue. You used to watch David
Yeah.
Robinson.
Yeah.
Those guys play there. Any thoughts on playing in the Dome?
Well, you know, J.D. Lampley didn't know who the Admiral was. I think Coach Dowse told him this is the house that David Robinson built. He kind of looked around and goes, did David Robinson really build it, like by his hands, you know? So, you know, as a kid, I grew up in the Jordan, Pippen, David Robinson, Clyde Drexler, you know, those days, the 90s, and he was a lot of fun to watch and definitely a childhood favorite of mine. So it's pretty cool to go there to the actual Alamo Dome. I think you know, I don't know how I ever finished, but I ran a marathon back there, probably, I don't know, a long time ago now, 12 years ago. But it was kind of at that, you know, that was kind of where the start and finish was, at the Alamo Dome, and pretty cool scenery there. Been to San Antonio several times for the AFCA convention, and just a really neat city. But as you mentioned, you know, excited to be the first time I think I've played in a dome. In that setting, so it'll be kind of cool there. I've obviously seen a bunch of games in domes over the years. I'll be the first time coaching in one, so super excited about that. Our players are excited about the challenge and excited about the opportunity to go get it back on the grass, or I guess back on the turf in this case, and get back to work and just see how much better we can play this week than we did last week.
Coach, I was going through all my archives and looking through your games, and
Yeah.
the video that popped to me was Chad Stevens.
Mm-hmm.
Can you touch on just his play real quick?
Yeah, and I think Coach may hit on it yesterday. Chad, you know, when he's on and brings a lot of bright spots. You know, nobody gets off the ball like Chad. You know, causing disruption, causing havoc in there. And we got a saying within our defense, penetration ruins the nation. And you see Chad doing that a lot of times. He's a kid that when I first got here in 2020, I was in the linebacker room, and then we moved him to outside backer, and now he's at the field end, defensive end, and plays in the B gap a lot of 4-eye in there. So, you know, just been a versatile guy and never says a word about it and just go plays his tail off. So just really appreciate his effort, and not just his effort, but our guys in general, the way they fight, the way they claw, and the effort they keep fighting with. Just proud of them, and we got to continue to do that, because I told them, if you don't go play this game with edge defensively, you know, you don't show up every single week and play the game with edge, play the game with passion, go work your tail off, then you're not going to be proud of your outcome or the way you go perform on Saturday. And you got to have a lot of pride about that to play this game. And our guys got that. If they didn't have that pride and just that desire, then they wouldn't be at this level. And they're proud to represent East Carolina, and maybe the outcome hasn't been the way they desire quite yet, but they keep working their tails off to make sure one day that we get there and make East Carolina proud and make themselves proud.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate it.